This is a clip from The Ancient Gift. The entire episode is available on the Ancient Gift YouTube channel and all podcast platforms. Click the link in the description to get access to the entire episode now.
Tell us about your childhood a little bit as far as how your journey started. Like, how did this start and how did you get to today?
Wow. Well, first, thank you for inviting me onto the show. Yes, it's been a long time coming. I will send you the check in the post. That's what Chris Matthew does. He sends a check in the post now. Wow. I'll have to cut it short. How did it all begin? It began as a child, obviously. When I was a toddler, it was normal for me to see what we call dead people, even though they don't like to be called dead people. And it was part of who I was. Also, at the same time, I thought in my remit, in my consciousness, I only knew about dead people because they told me they were dead. So I knew that. And I used to have the midget dead people. At the time, I thought they were either dead children or just midget people, because back in the day in the UK, we had a lot of midgets, dwarfs, you know. I had no idea that they were what we now label the greys. So I started off all paranormal experiences as a child, quite weird, never fit in.
I can relate to that. I can relate. Yeah. I spent my childhood on the outside looking into everybody else and I think there was something different. So yeah.
It was weird. I thought it was normal to do the things I did as a child. And my elder sister confirmed it. We would do things like telekinesis, telepathy, everything you could think of, all the paranormal stuff and moving things. And it was normal. It was a normal process. And then when I became a teenager, towards the teenage years, puberty, it accelerated extensively. Well, by then, they'd already diagnosed me with schizophrenia and put me on heavy antipsychotic drugs as a teenager. And I was in an experience of child torture and abuse at the same time. So it all became too much. And as a young teenager, I attempted suicide because no one could understand what I was going through. So that's where it comes through. So I came in on the dark side, into the dark side. However, in hindsight, the beings were always there, what you call ET, and the spirit world. And they were the ones that helped me transition through the experiences.
When you say dark side, you mean like because of all the trauma you suffered and went through, that was a dark period of your life. It was
dark experience. I was not self-realized as a child. Mm-hmm. And what was being done to me was torture, as I was tortured and for many years. And so that's the dark side of the experience. So, and
I want to, you said a couple things I want to ask you about real quick, if that's okay. First of all, you said telekinesis. Now this is new for me, for you, because I didn't know you could, did you do this as a child because your mind wasn't conformed in the matrix yet? Or is it something you can still manage to do?
It's like, at the time when I was small, it was, as normal as drinking water. There was no separation. I hadn't been, because of, I think, coming in the way I did, I didn't connect to what we call the matrix. I didn't connect at that point. I couldn't be conditioned. And because of like the blunt force trauma and all that was going on the physical body, that also stopped me connecting to the matrix. So, you know, if someone made me upset, I didn't have to do anything. As a teenager, things would just happen. They would just happen. I suppose you could call it like I was a bit of a instigator for poltergeists. The spirit world were always around me, but I didn't do anything. And later on in life, I used to say to people, you know, when I got to about my 20s, don't upset me. Because
so it's like, be careful what you wish for with you, right?
don't upset me. Don't. And I didn't understand what was going on at the time. So I think it was natural. There was no practice. Now, over the years, I remember teaching some of my children to do it when they were younger because it could be done. But then over the years, life goes on and you tend to fade out of it and you get on and have your experience. I think it still could be done today, but it's not my priority.
Right.
It's not a party trick. So it's
yeah, I don't like that either when people kind of like, hey, can you, blah, blah, can you see blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this isn't like, not supposed to be used for that.
Yeah, no, it was a natural thing and it was fun. And it kept me in entertainment when I was a child. You spend your time talking to the dead, playing with the dead in graveyards, doing precognition, knowing when someone's going to die, all the normal stuff that goes on in the world. So for me, it was a fun time. And telepathy I love telepathy better than anything.
Oh, me too.
I used to love playing, the telepathic games with my sister.
It comes in handy when you're playing cards.
Well, no, we would just, talk to each other. And no one would, like, bitch, as you do.
Oh, so, if any of you have weak constitutions, Gloria's got a mouth on her from the UK. So,
I say it as it is. What you see is what you get. So, in hindsight, it stopped me being totally, I think, consumed into the matrix. I wasn't unprogrammable. I eventually got programmed into the matrix, but it wasn't so strong because the experiences have never stopped from childhood. So that's the start of the journey.
It's like when you say when you came in, do you mean like when you chose this life to be born into, to experience what you did, or do you mean coming into realizing your gifts? How do you mean that?
Send her the hate mail, not me. When I'm what I don't even like to say because I come from the perspective of self-realization. So I'm aware I am that. I am one of the gods, let's put it that way, that came in to have this human experience. And for this time, and I came in only for this time. And when I came in, the reason the experience was so dark is I had to experience the darker side of the human experience, a Homo sapiens sapien. Later on, they showed me how humans kill. This is how it works. So I'd had all that teaching whilst here at the same time, but still didn't quite grasp it. But I came in to have this human experience. That's it.
And you said around puberty, this when it's like it's kind of like you go through your childhood and these things seem second nature to you, and you go through it and then you come into puberty and these are exponentially charged, right? Where like you said, poltergeist, and
it's amazing what you don't even realize if you get cross. It wasn't even so much when I got cross. It's if someone hurt me. And I didn't understand what was happening. So someone would hurt my heart as a young person or a young adult. And I couldn't be evil, which was the weirdest thing all the way through. I had this love in me and I didn't know what it was. I couldn't harm another. I had a big mouth on me. I would fight back and, face plant you if need be in a normal, playground, so to speak. But it was more if you hurt my heart, and it would just happen. And I never understood why. And then I thought I was cursed. Then I thought I was bad because I didn't understand me as a young being. And I just said, people, please don't make me angry. Don't do it. And I would be more nice to people or people please, so nothing would happen to them. I soon stopped that. But yeah, so it's just who I was. And I had no criteria. I had no concepts. I had nothing like everybody else had. It was like I was an alien in a society, total alienated. I couldn't read or write as a child because of the blunt force trauma to the head, what was going on. So
Wow.
I couldn't do anything like that. I couldn't spell. I couldn't do anything. I stuttered. So I was like a total alien. What a fucking journey I've been on.